we are moving towards our next speaker, Ms. Beenish Khan. She is a lecturer at the Department of International Relations at the National University of Modern Languages. Ms. Beenish, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak, Musawir, and it's a topic which is very close to my heart. And since I've been a student, since I've, have entered into this international relations field, so it is something that I've been, closely observing in our society as well. And this is a topic which is very close to our to my heart as well. And this is kind of a topic which, it's not just one segment of the society is, in a way affected by this. It is like everything of different, every segment of society. So every segment of the society is being affected by this, what do you call, domestic abuse, or you can say domestic violence, whether it's mental, whether it's psychological, whether it's physical. So in every society, every woman goes through a lot, and her life is somehow, it has been shaped in a way that is, generally we have a patriarchal society. So in a patriarchal society where it's a society which is mainly very male dominated, and it is dominated by males, so women have a very less low role to play, and they are kind of a kind of a sex that has been oppressed by a lot of people. So and initially we used to say that, this domestic violence and all this is very class based, in the sense that, we used to see this kind of issues of domestic violence not much in our what you call a middle class or in our elite class. But recently, over the past times, I would like to highlight about the murder issues that we have had in Islamabad. And they're very prevalent of the fact that, they're not very class-based issues. Women of every class, of every segment of society, whether she's an educated woman, whether she is an entrepreneur or anything, she has gone through all these cases. I know you guys would be pretty familiar with the cases of Noor Muqaddam as well, as obviously she was an educated lady, and then obviously she lost her life in, obviously it was a classic case of domestic violence as well. And it was a classic case that you can say that violence against women still prevails, whether she belongs from whatever society or class. Then recently, the other case that we had recently, I forgot the name of the girl. Safar, if you can remind me of the recent girl. Do you remember her name?
Unfortunately, I don't remember right now.
I don't, but it was somehow a woman who was like into a job as well. She had a career, she had everything, but then obviously, unfortunately, she could not, survive because she was a victim of domestic violence as well. So these are kind of the people that are actively participating, and one of the most educated women. So every woman from every, these are the ones which are reported. So there are a lot of cases which aren't reported. So there is a lot of, what do you call, there's a lot of frustration, you can say, as well. There are psychological issues as well that leads towards a lot of domestic violence in the society. So now I'll focus on what's currently happening. So what's currently happening is that 6.4 million people in the humanitarian assistance, which obviously happened recently, let's talk about it, monsoon rain, floods, landsliding in Pakistan, that bared 1.6 million women of childbearing age. And the government of Pakistan estimated 33 million people across the countries are affected, and basically women are affected in that. Almost the estimated, we're going to talk about how brutally these women were obviously treated in the recent flood as well. Obviously, a lot of these women were pregnant, a lot of these women in these camps were raped. So a lot of minors were raped as well, minor in the sense that minor girls were raped in these flood affected areas. So it was something that was under controllable, which was against human birth and stuff like that. And humanitarian situation compound to several impact on infrastructure as well. So there is a massive things that are happening in our society, and somehow we do not have any kind of any solution towards it as well. So their gap obviously relies between the structure and cultural patriarchal society, when social norms promote gender abuse, a discourse with domestic violence encourage women to blame their abuse, and there's a need and mind and behavior remains within the landscape towards working towards. So there's no proper mechanism that has ever been delivered. And obviously, if we say that, promoting education can stop all these violence and all that, but there's certain segment of society and there's certain people who are educated as well, but these kind of things does not really stop things like that. So the thing that we need to work on is on obviously behavioral improvement as well. So schools should promote gender responsibility, age appropriacy, life skill based education in and out of the school youth, covering topics of equality, respect, and right for both women. And then obviously they can obviously take and help with WHO, with UNFCPA that works in developing health sector and responding obviously cases against women, while in training people and their mindset as well. And as your previous speaker, she mentioned that how important is it at the time of the modern age, where we face a lot of online bullying, we face a lot of online people get harassed online as well. So there is a proper cyber security team, and that cyber security team, there should be certain amount of check and balance kind of network that can obviously women can report as well, and they should come up and address. And then obviously when we come and talk about women's at obviously their place at workplace, that's all, whether it's a developed society or whether it's a developing country, still there is a huge gap. And then there's a huge gender issues as well. And then there is a huge obviously working place environment, or whether you've been harassed, whether it's like physical harass, or whether it's it's kind of physical. Sometimes people can talk in a way as well that you feel harassed as well. So these all things are very important. So there should be proper harassment cells in universities. There should be harassment cell in your workplaces as well, where you can file a complaint. And then obviously if they're not going to talk about it, then I don't think so these issues can be resolved. Then obviously there is a huge segment of society where you have women experience every kind of obviously domestic abuse, mainly in Pakistani household, you can say, which our men are kind of try to control women. So the right activists suggest that women in Pakistan society, they face multiple threats as well. She gets raped. Then there's obviously there are laws that are prevalent, but then obviously there's laws cannot be preventing in a way as well. Then there is a lot of treatment as well. According to Pakistani Ministry of Human Rights, which cites that country demographic health survey 2017 to 2018, around 28% of women from the age of 15 to 25 have experienced physical violence. So this is a very alarming kind of situation, where obviously other things. So this is like the women have gone through. It has observed that certain cases found out that police in actual figure did not define the actual amount of violence against women committing against human in Pakistan. So the Human Rights Watch has come up with an annual citing report in 2020 that alleged extensive light of abuse against women along with the children in Pakistan, which is very low ranking, which out of 170 countries, we are ranked 167. So violence against women, girls, including rape, murder, acid attack, domestic violence, forced marriages, and is the root cause through which, and human rights defenders estimated roughly 1,000 women are killed in so-called honor killing as well. So this is another very important aspect, and we hardly talk about is honor killing. Then, according to other human rights activists, that is Farzana Bari, she's a very prominent scholar of human rights, says that the reason for the case of violence against women in Pakistan is due to lack of seriousness on the part of government, and to the launch of strict implementation of laws and educate and empower women to suppress discriminative attitude. No government has ever tried to put an end to this mindset. It is being done by educating women in the rural area and empowering them economically and raising their representation in the legislature. So given the lack of implementation of law and providing impunity offender, the crime rate has severely increased, which suppress its laws and plays a very effective role. So if you do not give them enough representation in the society, so nothing can obviously happen. So it should be treated as a serious, and obviously women as considered to be a weaker nature, weaker kind of what do you call gender, which is vulnerable as well. So women should should get empower against the practices that are on in the places that things like that. They should educate themselves, and they should be, obviously, if they are in a condition where they can earn their bread and butter, so this kind of an issues can be resolved. And then obviously it is sad to see that obviously our country has not been really kind of in a situation that has been it's not in a place where women can live independently and freely as well, because then there is a lot of things that in our country it comes as shari and non-shari as well. So there's another debate as well, whether what kind of rights would you be given to women or not. But then the choice is yours. Of obviously you can shape your life as well, but then there should be acceptance in the society as well for a woman to breathe and to exist nicely and productively as well. So whether coming up to statistics, they don't give a very wholesome view of the fact that these are the women that have been going through a lot as well. But we've been obviously in every household, in every your workplace and your surroundings, there are women that are going through a lot in their house as well. And if you know anything of them, obviously, as I say, that the change, obviously it's always say that the change begins within yourself, and that the first person that you need to change is yourself as well. So the change obviously that you want to bring in the society, that's going to come through what is inside you. So if you see any kind of a thing or any kind of a thing in a way that a woman is going through some domestic violence or anything like that, so you should help them out and talk about this issues and highlight this, because if you're not going to address these kind of issues, so there are going to be a lot of cases in our society whether there's going to be a lot of more Noor Muqaddam happening, and a lot of other educated women are going to be a victim of this violence behavior. And when you see that a person is getting too physically abusive as well, so it's better to talk about it rather than losing your life. So obviously you should be agent of change as well, and then you can encourage the other woman to talk about as well, and then try to resolve the issue, because obviously these kind of issues needs to be resolved at a micro level, not at a macro level. So you can obviously counsel the other people if you know anybody in your society and surrounding is happening, because a lot of people are very reluctant to talk about these things as well, and a lot of people are very reluctant of the fact that what is the people gonna say in our society. So you need to actively participate and you should act as a good helping shoulder in the way to eliminate this, because obviously it's going to start at a grassroots level, and then it's going to go up as well. It's not going to be top to bottom approach, it's going to be always from bottom to top kind of approach. So it's individuals that matter the most. So the individuals and the people around the society can help and encourage the people to, help to make a difference. So obviously it is about people to people helping each other. And then obviously that is your kind of a societal more values as well, that you need to promote all these kind of things. Unless if you think that somebody is going to come and help you, nobody's going to come and help you. It is just an individual effort that you have to make. I've seen a lot of people lose their life due to domestic violence as well, but it is a time where you first time ever witnessed this, so you should say no towards it. And then obviously in later on, it can, because obviously aggressor becomes more aggressor when he sees the fact that the person he's trying to aggress is being so, oppressive. So that's my message. Then obviously if you see something, anything in the society happening, so then you can stop it right there. Thank you so much.